Great. So could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Katrien. I am 34 years old. I live in Brussels and I work as a freelance consultant in corporate social responsibility and business and human rights.
Perfect. Amazing. So before starting to working with me, what was the challenge that you were having?
I think I had multiple challenges that were coming in and out of my life for a long time already. I had quite a lot of anxiety. I would get very worried about things. I had moments of quite deep sadness that sort of led me to kind of depressions up and down here and there. I was struggling also. It was COVID time, so there was also related issues to that. But I would say, yeah, I had quite some issues with anxiety and a bit of depression and stress, generally speaking, and not feeling very good in my own body.
I understand. And did you try something else before to solve these issues?
I did, quite a few years of therapy. So like, I think cognitive behavioral therapy for quite a few years. In my 20s, I did different types of some kind of bit spiritual, quite intensive training about finding your true self. I did something called neurofeedback also, which is much more kind of physical in the brain. Yoga, meditation, read a lot of books, watched thousands of hours of YouTube videos. So I did a lot of things which were very helpful and which I also needed along the way. So I needed some therapy at a certain point, I think definitely to deal with some family issues and to resolve past issues. But I think by the time that you and I started working together, it was very much about not about regurgitating and repeating stories of the past, but much more about looking at tools for the future. So much more about creating the future rather than just simply healing past stories that I kept on repeating to myself.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you think that this has impacted your life?
Like right now? Yeah. So we started our journey in November, December last year. So it's been 3-4 months, quite intense. And sometimes I have to really think back to how I was and where I was at that time. And I think the first 6 weeks of our journey was quite intense. It was very, going through the emotional liberations and the weekly work that we did, because it was my first time going to some very deep places. It was quite tough. A lot of things came out. They were quite heavy to deal with. But as the course progressed, I started to heal more and more. And also the work that we did started to be more and more like powerful and let's say really positive. So it was not so much anymore about, let's say, liberating the really painful parts, but it became easier and easier for me to manifest the positive parts. And I think what I've really found is a lot of self-awareness, so much self-awareness and tools to help me to be much more self-aware, to stay much more self-aware. And this has really helped me also to be more authentic and more calm and more confident in work, in my relationship. And yeah, I have to say it's what's also amazing is that what I have is a resource that I continue to use, that I can continue to use. And in fact, I have to be honest, I haven't even tapped into maybe 15. I've only really tapped into 15 or 20% potential, because the tools that you give to people are tools that you keep on using and you keep on practicing, and it gets better and better each time and easier.
Yeah.
So I know that I still have a lot of potential to grow, to grow in using those tools.
That's great. And what would you believe that is the biggest takeaway in this career?
I think probably for me, I think the realization of replaying stories of the past, which was something that I was doing a lot for many years, and I thought that that was how you digest your pain, like by talking about your past and things like this. And then what I learned here with the work that we did is that actually it doesn't really matter what the story is or what happened. What happens is the emotion and the association, the deep emotion that you attach, that you have attached to whatever the story. And I think that the main takeaway is probably the fact that either you stay in the loop and you keep telling yourself the same story, and then you're just stuck there. It doesn't really go anywhere. So you need to go in and you need to clean it out. Like you actually need to clean out the story. And then you make space. And then you make space for something that is much more authentic and much more positive for you and the world. But you first need to clear that out. You need to clear that emotion and not the story. You don't keep repeating the story on the cognitive level. You need to go into the emotional feelings of it, and shine light on it. Otherwise, it doesn't go away.
Yeah, you are very wise.
Thank you.
That's great. And in your personal life, what would be the best or the biggest impact?
I think probably in my relationship that started kind of around the same time that we started our work together. I've noticed completely new and much more compassionate for myself and for the other person behaviors. And also, I'm not operating out of fear. I used to operate a lot out of fear, out of feelings of abandonment or rejection, and then I would attack the other person, not literally, but I would just feel like, oh, I need to get out of this relationship. It's not, not safe. And now I don't. I'm much kinder to myself. I have much more faith in myself and in the other person, and I let things flow. And I'm much more authentic. And I think already now we have come to some challenges. I came to some moments where I really noticed that I was managing things differently, which allowed the relationship to progress, which I probably wouldn't have done in the past.
That's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations. And the same, but at the professional level. What is the biggest impact?
Yeah, I think professionally speaking, I think COVID has been a challenge because my normal way of doing business kind of fell away, and I had to accept that now I have to work in a different way, in a really different way. And I think again with faith and power and responsibility, which I think that you also taught me. I approach things differently, so I can see much more. I have a lot more like energy for the future and what's to come. So I'm less scared. I think in the past I would have been really worried because everything has changed, and so there's this real sense of like everything is up in the air right now. And so I'm doing the things that I need to do in my business, but with more confidence, I think. Even though I'm going through completely new waters and like very rocky terrain, it feels okay. So I know that relative to how I was in the past, I think I would have had a much more difficult time. And then an important thing, which was also one of the things that we went through in the course of our work, is like learning to listen and having compassion for the other person, which is very important as a freelance consultant, I think, when you work with clients who come in all shapes and sizes and forms and have all kinds of needs as well. Listening and having compassion for another person and being able to see their perspective was something that I really learned, and it really helped me a lot to build good relationships with people. And so that's a really an important tool, I think, that I will continue to use. Yeah.
Perfect. So would you recommend this course, this training to other entrepreneurs?
Yes, 100%, 100%. So I think, well, for sure to entrepreneurs, but I think actually to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, because the journey that I went on is, it's a personal journey, but it's one that then has applications in all your areas of life. So whether you're an entrepreneur or even if you're just an employee, all the skills that you learn, I mean, all the things that you touch upon, the things you face about yourself, the positive manifestations you then foster, positive feelings you then foster, they're relevant in all areas of life. So, but I think specifically as an entrepreneur, it's important, I think, to have an extra or an additional level of self-awareness, perhaps, because of what you have to navigate every day, and the choices you have to make and the challenges you face. It's a much bigger scope you have to deal with.
Yeah.
There's not much frame. Things are not dictated for you or, structured for you. So I think those tools are especially relevant for a person who's like navigating the world of being free, like freelancing, right? So
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, would you like to add something that you want to share with anyone who is listening, who's watching this video?
Yeah, I think going on the journey is not easy. It was tough for me, because facing yourself is always tough, I guess. But I really believe that in order to be authentic in your life and actually feel really comfortable with who you really are, there's always, the older we get, I think, more and more layers of fears and shames and guilts and regrets and all kinds of things that have piled up over our years, and we have to go there. We have to go there, and we have to look at it, and then we have to just make peace with it and understand it, and have that as part of ourselves also, that history, but not have it so heavy and not have it so painful. So I think turning, it's not so much about, I think the painful part is looking at those things and then building a relationship with those things, with those more negative sides, that's not what they are. They're just things that make us human, I guess. So I think, the journey is tough because of the work you have to go through, but it gets easier along the way. And also the benefits are huge. So once you do a day, an hour, an hour with you, then 2 days of just feeling really rough. Actually, sometimes it's something heavy that you need to go through. But after that, you feel like, I don't know, like a new sun has come up because something has shifted, something has changed. And so the change, the small pains relative to the gains, I think is super, super worth it. Incredible. And then also the fact that, you, on the other hand, you have to do the work. The person has to do the work. You guide us. You give us tools. You're there on the opposite side of the Zoom call, and you have a support community and everything, but the work has to come from us, and that can go sometimes with 2 steps forward and 1 step back, but eventually you get there. So it gets easier and easier along the way, and the rewards grow along the way as well.
So it would be to trust the process. It works and
Trust the
it's
process.
easier.
Yeah, definitely to trust the process, even when it feels really hard. Yeah.
It's easier.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your experience, and thank you for your time as well. It's been amazing working with you. And yeah, we hope that this is useful for the people who are listening, who are watching this. And I'll see you later.
And just to say that Anna is an amazing mentor, and I always felt really comfortable with you also. And although you have a process, you know, you didn't force the process. You knew that sometimes, right, every person is different, and so that was really, really amazing. Also, that you adapted also, and you were always available, and you have this amazing ability to read people. So this is really like part of making the person on the other side of the Zoom call or eventually the room very comfortable, feel very comfortable with you. So that's, yeah. So thank you for that also.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure. So. All right. So thank you very much. And yeah, like I said, hopefully we will keep seeing each other in the group sessions, and we will keep working so your life keeps also debating. Thanks, Katrien. See
Thank
you.
you, and bye.